Tony Moore, thanks for joining me. I'm really so sorry for your loss. Your mom, tell me about your mom.
Well, my mum was my foundation and my inspiration. And I realized as I look back over my life that from the very beginning, she was there for me every step of the way, encouraging me to do the thing that I love, which was to make music. And I've had a blessed life. I left home quite young. At about 17, I moved to London, and I've made music and I've toured and I've recorded and I've been all over the place. And never once did she say, "Oh, Anthony, you're neglecting me. You should come home and see me." She only ever said, "You're doing wonderfully well." And when we saw each other, it was fantastic. So I can't tell you how much of an amazing foundation it is when you have a parent or two parents that believe in you, that support you, and that encourage you. And I know that's for some people it's quite rare. I know that some people, aren't always encouraged in life. So I encourage parents to encourage their kids and just be behind them all the way, whatever they want to do. Right? It's like give them the belief they can do it.
Yeah, even if it's kind of crazy, right?
Absolutely, we need kind of crazy, right? Because not
Absolutely.
because not everyone is kind of crazy, right? So it evens out. So
That's right. That's right. It does.
right. So a lot of people don't want a kind of crazy life, right? They want something stability in it. But the ones that want the crazy life, sometimes we come along, we sprinkle a little extra fun into the world for everybody else, and that has to be encouraged.
It does. It does. Tony, you're in the green room at the Bedford, right? Right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Tell
that's right.
how's the Bedford doing? You guys doing all right?
Yeah, we're doing great. It's partly because the venue itself is in a very busy pub, and it's always very successful. But the venue itself is primarily a kind of cabaret seated venue. So even back in the days when things were crazy around the world and everyone had to be a meter or two away from each other, it actually didn't affect our seating plans very much. It diminished our capacity a little bit, but we could still do shows. So we were one of the first venues to be able to open up and start doing shows, and we haven't really stopped since then. And it's been a great success. The Bedford is a much loved venue in the UK and around the world, and we're doing our bit, being a platform for the next generation of great music.
That's great. Well, you do seem to champion that next generation quite a bit. And a lot of the work, that's one of the reasons we got to meet you, actually, right?
Absolutely.
From
Yeah,
Alona.
yeah.
Um, so now, had your mom been able to get to the Bedford? Had she
Oh
seen what
yeah.
you were doing there? Yeah.
Yes. Now
Yeah.
there's two things to this, right? One is
Yeah.
that she lived in Bristol, which is about 2 hours away from London. So in 1998, when I was still first doing shows, and I had a venue called the Kashmir Club, or the Space, I started streaming shows on the internet so she could watch them and be a part of it. And she used to run the online chat rooms, and her screen name was Tony's Mum. So there are literally thousands of people around the world who know her as Tony's mum, because she was like the mum to everyone. So over the years, I've been streaming shows from every venue that I've been running and curating and playing at. And at the Bedfords, this has been 19 years now. She was not only a part of it digitally, but she used to come and visit. And then in the last 6 years, she moved to London. I brought her to London, and she used to come every month or two, and she'd sit at the back and have a plate of chips, or French fries, as you call them over there, and watch the show. And I'd say, "Tony's mum's in the house," and she'd get a big round of applause. And so she knew the Bedford very, very, very well.
That's awesome. I will say, Tony, that they always taste better when they're called chips.
That's true, isn't it? And it just
uh,
sounds good.
That's right. Talking with Tony Moore. Tony's written a beautiful song dedicated to his mom. We're going to talk about that in a second. But Tony, I noticed yesterday, was it yesterday? You posted a new song on Facebook?
Yes, I think called "It's All Love."
Yeah,
Um,
tell me about that song. That's a beautiful
uh,
song.
to be honest, I have spurts of creativity, so I might not write anything for 6 months, and I don't worry about it. It's fine. I've got plenty of songs, but every now and then I can't stop them coming out. I've written about 7 in the last 2 weeks, and
Wow.
and this one I just happened to be in my digital studio. So if people go to the Facebook page or YouTube, you can see the video. I'm going to give away a trade secret now. It's actually in the shed in my mum's garden. It's not a real piano. It's a but I'm very good at overlaying images to make it look like I'm in a white room playing a white grand piano. I'm
I
just
like
in a
the tiger in the corner too,
yes, that's Spizzy.
or leopard or whatever it is.
Cheetah, actually, but
Cheetah.
let's not split hairs. So the song is really a little bit about me. I thought I'd write a song about me because I was thinking about how, even though I have a very simple life in many respects, I just make music and do fun things. Underneath it, there's lots of layers. I'm not in bed before 4 a.m. because I'm up working and writing nearly every night. It's very hard for me to slip out of the crazy world into a slightly more normal world. So it's a little bit about me, and it's a little bit about realizing that people not, and for all of us actually, that have this whole life that goes on, people don't see, they just see the facade and they take you as that, right? But the truth is, whatever there's up there, whether there's a deity or whether there's a universal force or a spiritual energy, to me, is just all love. And so that's the point of the song. And it's a very happy, upbeat tune.
And I highly recommend you go check it out on either his YouTube or Facebook page there. Tony Moore, I Cry for You. That's a beautiful song. Tell me about this. This dedicated to your mom.
Yeah.
But tell me about this song and how it came to be.
So the beginning of 2020, my mum was in hospital for about 5 weeks, and there's something happens to people when they come out of hospital after a long stay. They change, especially older in life. And I found this from lots of people I've talked to about it. But she had the dementia switch suddenly turn on. So when she came home, she became bedridden. She kind of started living in this little goldfish bowl life of just remembering a few things and stuff from a long time ago, but the dementia was getting bad. So the lockdown, in a weird way, was actually a blessing in disguise for me, because I got to spend the best part of 1.5 to 2 years living with my mum and being her primary carer and telling her every single day that she's the best mum in the world, how beautiful she is and how much I love her. And I wouldn't swap that for the world. However, in the first lockdown in 2020, one night I came back from the aforementioned shed where I've been doing a stream. And as I came into the room where she was in her bed, she went, "Oh, you look very much like my son, you know." And I said, "Well, I am your son, Mum." And she went, "You know, he plays piano as well." And in that moment, my heart was broken, because there's nothing more cruel than to lose a family member before they've gone, and for someone to not know who you are after sharing this much love. So I went into the shed and I grieved all night. This was, for anyone who's gone through it will know. And at the end of it, I wanted to write a song for her. So I wrote this song, and I have cameras all around the house, so I had to keep an eye on her and make sure she's safe when I'm not there. So that's what, in a weird way, that's what the opening line's about, right? I can see her, but she doesn't know that I can see her. And every night I'm keeping an eye on her to make sure she's safe. And I wanted to create a production that was grand and epic, and reflected the depth of how much beautiful love we have between us. And in the back of my head, I was thinking Phil Spector meets Scott Walker meets the Beach Boys. So I kind of threw all that into a mix with this song, and I just, but I never released it because it was a bit painful, but she was still with me. And to be honest, the dementia came and went. So most of the time she knew who I was, or she needed a little remembering. "I'm your son." "Oh, yes, of course you are. Yes, Anthony, of course." Right. But when she died at the end of July this year, I created this collage of pictures and put the song to it, and suddenly it all seemed to make sense. And I wanted to share her little journey, because she had a beautiful journey in her life. She was an amazing soul. And I thought, through music, I can share this with people around the world.
Tony, I didn't think you could make me cry more than that song. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all of us get touched at times with such deep tragedies in our lives, right? It's not, all of us. And so I realized with this song also that many people related to it. And for them, maybe I can be a voice to take us on a journey. And if we shed a tear along the way, that's a good thing, right? That
Yeah.
means we're in touch with our heart, and we're not cold to the world anymore. So
Yeah.
that was the point of the song. So I thank you for the support, Chris. You know, I love the station, I love what you do, and I love your passion to help new music be heard. And it's a rare thing that you do. So I'm grateful to be a part of what you do. Thank you.
Well, Tony, thank you so much, and much love to you, brother.
And to you and everyone there, it's I will be back when the madness is finally settled down a bit.
That'd be awesome.
Come and see you in the studios. But
Cool.
yeah, that's what's happening. So the song's been getting such lovely responses, and I'm very pleased that I'm able to share that journey and not be morbid, but certainly be emotional.